It was supposed to be just another quiet Tuesday night at the local diner. Slow traffic, regulars sipping coffee, and tired waitresses counting down the hours. But for 24-year-old Katie Monroe, that shift would be her last. Sometime between wiping down tables and clocking out, she simply vanished. Her purse was still in the break room. Her car sat untouched in the parking lot, and the front door locked from the inside. No signs of struggle, no security footage showing her leaving, just gone. Her disappearance shook the small town, leaving coworkers, friends, and especially her mother, Linda, with more questions than answers. Katie had worked that same shift for almost 2 years. Reliable, kind, and always smiling, she was the kind of person everyone liked. So when she didn't come home that night, Linda knew something was wrong. The police searched the area, drained nearby ponds, and questioned every customer on the receipt log. But after months of no leads, the case went cold until 3 years later. One quiet afternoon, Linda was dining alone in a small cafe several towns over, trying to find some peace. But when her soup arrived, she stirred it absent-mindedly. That's when she saw it. Something small, hard, and unmistakably familiar surfaced from beneath the broth. It wasn't just a coincidence. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. She hadn't seen this in years. Her heart pounded. Could this be the clue that finally explained what happened to her daughter? Linda stared at the small object in her hand, her eyes wide with disbelief. It was a tiny silver locket, shaped like a heart. Katie had worn it every day since she turned 16. Linda remembered gifting it to her on her birthday, engraved with her initials inside. She never took it off, not even at work, and now, here it was, in a bowl of soup at a cafe Katie had never even mentioned. Her mind raced. Could this be a terrible coincidence, or had someone brought it here on purpose? The waitress noticed Linda's shaking hands and asked if she was okay, but Linda couldn't speak. She just clutched the locket, paid the bill, and left quietly. Outside, the cool breeze did nothing to calm her nerves. Questions flooded her thoughts. Why would this necklace show up now, 3 years later? And more importantly, how? That night, Linda sat at her kitchen table, staring at old photos of Katie, looking for anything she might have missed. She thought back to the diner, to Katie's coworkers, the manager, even a few of the regulars who gave her uneasy feelings at the time. There had been whispers about a man who always requested Katie's section, someone she never talked much about. The police had brushed him off as harmless. But now, with this new clue, Linda wasn't so sure. She knew one thing for certain: someone had planted that locket. And whoever it was, they wanted her to find it. The next morning, Linda returned to the cafe where she found the locket. This time, she wasn't just a customer, she was a mother on a mission. She asked to speak with the manager, a middle-aged woman named Carla, who seemed polite but guarded. Linda explained about her daughter's disappearance and showed her the charm. Carla froze for a moment, then quietly admitted the necklace wasn't in the soup when the kitchen served it. It must have been dropped in after. But by who? Linda asked for a list of the cafe staff and found one name that stood out: Greg. He had only recently started working there. But something about his name rang a bell. After digging through Katie's old social media messages, she found him. 3 years ago, Katie had briefly mentioned a customer who made her uncomfortable. Greg. He used to linger at the counter too long, ask odd personal questions, and always left without tipping. Katie had even asked to change shifts to avoid him. Meanwhile, across town, Detective Ramirez reopened the cold case file after Linda handed him the locket. Though hesitant at first, he agreed something wasn't right. The timing, the location, the man, none of it felt like coincidence anymore. The detective began retracing Greg's past jobs and addresses. Strangely, he had worked at 3 different Places over the past 3 years, each in towns where young women had gone missing. That detail had never been connected until now. And it sent chills down Linda's spine. Linda couldn't shake the feeling that she was getting closer to something dark. She started following Greg discreetly, often parking her car down the street near his small rental home. Each night, he came home alone. No signs of visitors. But one night, around 2 a.m., she noticed movement behind the house. A faint light flickered near the back door, then disappeared. It was brief, but enough to make her heart race. The next day, she showed Detective Ramirez a photo of the house she had taken. He agreed to get a search warrant, but warned her not to approach Greg alone. Meanwhile, Linda's best friend Melissa went through Greg's social media, hoping to find more clues. She came across an old photo of Greg taken on the same street where Katie disappeared. In the background of the picture, almost too blurry to notice, was Katie's bright blue backpack. Linda knew it by heart. That backpack had never been found. The tension reached a boiling point when the detective received a call from a local pawn shop. The owner had seen a news bulletin about Katie's case and recognized the charm locket. Greg had tried to pawn it a week earlier, but left quickly when asked for ID. It was the confirmation they needed. A team prepared to move in on Greg's home, but Linda couldn't sit still. She drove there, parking across the street, her hands trembling on the steering wheel. She had no idea what she'd find, but deep down, she knew something was waiting. As Linda sat trembling in her car across the street from Greg's quiet rental, her phone buzzed. It was Melissa again, her voice sharp and panicked. "Linda, I dug deeper. Greg isn't who he says he is. His real name is Marcus Flynn. He changed his identity right after Katie disappeared. There's more. He was fired from 2 restaurants. In other states, after disturbing complaints, Linda's heart pounded harder. Just as she ended the call, she saw Greg emerge from the house, carrying what looked like a large duffel bag. He loaded it into the trunk and drove off quickly. Something told Linda she couldn't wait for the police. She followed at a safe distance, every nerve on edge. Greg didn't go far, just 15 minutes out of town to a quiet, overgrown field near an abandoned diner. He parked behind it and disappeared into the back. Linda crept closer, her camera phone ready. She peeked through a cracked window. Inside the boarded-up building, Greg opened a trapdoor in the floor. He lowered the bag down before climbing in himself. Linda backed away, stunned. She called Detective Ramirez immediately. "He's hiding something underground," she whispered. But just as she turned to leave, a rusted nail caught her jacket. The noise echoed. Suddenly, Greg's head popped back up through the hatch. His eyes scanned the shadows. Linda ducked behind a dumpster, holding her breath. The situation had turned dangerous, fast. Now, she wasn't just searching for answers, she was trying not to become the next one missing. Linda stayed frozen behind the dumpster, her heart racing so loudly she swore Greg Marquez could hear it. Minutes felt like hours as he hovered near the trapdoor. Eyes narrowed, sensing something was off. Just as he turned to go back down, flashing blue lights suddenly lit up the night. Detective Ramirez had traced Linda's call and arrived with backup. Officers swarmed the building. Greg bolted through the side, but he didn't get far. Linda saw him tackled to the ground, screaming, "You don't understand." She came back. Down in the hatch, what they discovered chilled everyone. A hidden room lined with old newspapers, worn clothing, and photos, some of Katie, some of other waitresses. In the corner, covered in dust and decay, was a metal dish. Inside it, a gold necklace that Katie's mom had given her the week before she disappeared. It was the same one she'd found in her bowl at the restaurant, except now it was clear it hadn't just been dropped accidentally. It had been placed there as evidence, as a warning, or maybe as a message. Greg was arrested, but what shocked everyone came later. DNA tests from the site confirmed Katie had been there, but another unknown female's DNA was also found. A new missing persons case, long forgotten, suddenly reopened. Linda's fight for her daughter had cracked open a larger, more twisted truth. And somewhere out there, someone else was still waiting to be found. The case wasn't truly over yet, had only just begun. Weeks after Greg's arrest, the small town slowly began to breathe again. Locals who had once crowded into the diner now stood silently outside, staring at the closed sign and the yellow tape still fluttering in the wind. Katie's story made national headlines, with her mom, Linda, appearing in interviews to speak not just about her daughter's disappearance, but about the quiet dangers that can hide in everyday places. Her pain was still raw, but her courage sparked attention to other unsolved cases. Authorities dug deeper into the evidence found beneath the diner. The second DNA match led them to connect Katie's case with a missing girl from a neighboring town, Tara, who had vanished under similar circumstances 5 years earlier. That link helped uncover a broader pattern, leading to reopened investigations across several counties. Katie's case, once viewed as isolated, had become the thread that unraveled a network of overlooked crimes.